Hello, Formula One fans in cartoon form. I did not know this was a thing until I saw this. But it's a Choro-Q. It's the Honda RA272 from 1965. This is a historic race car for Honda, really. This looks like it's new. The tape is yellowed and all that, but it looks new. I don't know if there's a date on the box. 2002. Alright, so 20 years old pretty much. So I'm reading Wikipedia here. This car was developed for the 1965 Formula One season. It was the first Japanese car to win an F1 race. So that's historic right there. And then this thing was powered by a 48 valve V12 engine, but the V12 was only 1.5 liters. So that's crazy. 1.5 liters, but a V12, that just doesn't happen too often. It made 230 horsepower, and it could rev up to 14,000 RPM, which is exceptionally high for a car motor. That's pretty high even for, well, modern motorcycle engines will rev that high. I think that's partially why this engine can do this, because Honda was a motorcycle company. Okay. Yeah. Some sacrifices had to be made to make this a ChoroQ for sure. Alright, so this thing it weighed only 500 kilograms as well, which is really light. It ran in 8 races and it won one race. So I guess, I mean, that's pretty good for Honda when you're competing against Ferrari that has decades of experience ahead of them. And then one interesting thing is, you know, this race livery, the red Japanese rising sun there on a white background. This is inspiration for all Honda Type R cars. That's why a lot of Honda Type Rs are usually a white car and they have red badges. It's all to honor this one vehicle here. So, very interesting to learn. Alright, now let's look at this ChoroQ. It has the standard 5 spokes from ChoroQ. This time they're chromed out. And then we have the tampo printing, which is nice. I think this is raw plastic, this white. It's very shiny though. It looks like it's gloss coated. It's so reflective, but I think it's just a raw plastic. The base here has one screw up front and the tab way back there. So yeah, it says 2002. It's got the trailing suspension links here, but they're not obviously going out here because then the motor wouldn't spin. Same with here, lower trailing arms. The front end is just a little bit of black here for this intake area. It's very shiny. That's, again, I don't know if that's a sticker. I almost feel like it could actually be a sticker. It's so shiny. Alright, well anyways, there's a really compressed Honda badge there. It's not really legible. Oh no, it is. It's just reversed. Let me focus there. So the white is the H, and then the box is the red. Alright. So Bucknum, I guess he's the race car driver of this car. Correct me if I'm wrong. The windshield is just painted silver, and then this is totally flat. The roll hoop actually has some air passing through it. And then we got the engine details, if you could call it that. You got some exhaust pipes running out there into these two tips. So there's technically 12 pipes running into these two tips here. And then, yeah, it's just kind of blanked off and stuff like that. So I think, well, ChoroQ did the best they could for 20 years ago. It's interesting looking. It's unlike any other ChoroQ I've seen, which it would have to be because it's an F1 car. Alright, let's compare it to a couple other models. I don't have a Honda in 164 like this, but I do have a Ferrari from the same era. Let that thing spin up. So this Ferrari is from the 1964 season, and so it has a similar, you know, like a pontoon, almost like a belly tanker look to it, with just exposed wheels and stuff like that. I do believe actually Kyosho may have made this car in 164. It's just that I don't see it come up for sale too often, and if it does, it's probably really expensive. So If I find one for cheap, I will get it, but that's the key word, cheap. To give an idea about a more modern F1 car, I'll put the latest Ferrari I have, which is still pretty old. It's a 2003 Ferrari from Kyosho again. But you get an idea how even F1 cars have grown for safety reasons and all that, and to fit more technology into them. Well, most definitely a unique Choro-Q, I think. And yeah, I think they might have some other ones, so I'll try to get those, maybe. I don't know, it's kind of a weird looking F1, it's kind of a weird looking Choro-Q, because it's actually quite long compared to other Choro-Qs. In fact, so here's a Choro-Q NSX, and you can see it's simply shorter overall by quite a bit. So I like this foreshortening of the NSX more. That kind of ChoroQ style. Here's a tiny Q of a Type R Integra. You know, to show tribute. Red badges on a white body. And that tiny Q is great. Really great details all over the thing. So I highly recommend Tiny Q if you're into the deformed stuff. Alright, well, anyways, we'll just have to see what happens if I get any more of these things. I'd be curious if they made other F1 brands, you know, besides Hondas. Alright, I'll talk to you guys later. See ya.